Have you ever noticed how open-minded people are when you present them with facts that challenge their deepest held beliefs? Yep, me neither. In fact, when challenged, people seem to double down on their position, even when presented with overwhelming factual evidence against them. This is called the backfire effect or the backfire bias. A number of interesting studies, not to mention the polarization of politics at any point in history, have shown the backfire bias in action. For example, in one study, subjects were given fake newspaper articles that confirmed the widespread misconception that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq under Saddam Hussein's regime. When the subjects were later provided a corrective article showing that weapons of mass destruction were never found, those who from the start opposed the Iraq War easily accepted the new article and rejected the old one. But interestingly, the people who supported the war didn't just reject the corrective article. Reading it reinforced their conviction that weapons of mass destruction were in Iraq at the time. They argued that not finding them was actually proof that Saddam Hussein hid them or destroyed them. Now, take a minute to consider how this applies to you. I bet that at some point in time, you've debated your views with friends, colleagues, or family. Is there anything they could have said that would have convinced you to change your position? When they brought evidence to you that challenged your views, did you accept it or dismiss it? Are you as open to facts and data as you think you are? Or do you just want to hear the facts that support your position? And how might this cognitive stubbornness potentially affect you professionally? Could it make you lose an opportunity for your company or your career? Most people don't like changing their minds, when in fact, most of us are wrong often enough that it's good to keep an open mind and actually consider and respond to the full range of evidence we're presented with. So whether you're trying not to give in to the backfire bias yourself or trying to get someone else to have an open mind, here are a few tips you can follow to have better conversations. First, as best you can, try to keep emotions out of the exchange. The moment things get heated, conversations tend to fall apart. So don't be afraid to point out when a discussion has gone from rational and civil to emotional and heated, and maybe even take a time out. Second, discuss, don't attack. That is, focus on the argument, not the person making the argument. Bring facts to the table. Give others time to process the information and don't make it personal. Third, listen carefully. Try to articulate the other person's position accurately. You can restate your friend's argument so well that they would say something like, "That's exactly what I believe." Fourth, ask questions. The more frustrated you get, the more questions you should ask. If you don't understand someone's position or rationale, before you go off on them, ask them to help you understand. I call this the Columbo method, after Peter Falk's 1970s series about a bumbling but very effective detective who would always get his criminals to reveal themselves by asking more and more questions as if he didn't understand what was going on. Fifth, introduce a third alternative. Have you ever watched the Looney Tunes when Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck are arguing about which hunting season it is? Duck season, no rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, on and on and on it goes with no resolution. Consider bringing in a third or even a fourth option into the discussion so the conversation isn't about one person winning and the other person losing. Finally, validate feelings. You can actually acknowledge someone's feelings and opinions without endorsing their position or their point of view. For example, you might say, "I totally understand why you believe that," or "I used to think that myself until I changed my mind." These strategies might not always work to change people's minds, but they'll help reduce unnecessary divisiveness, which is all too rampant in our conversations and our current culture.